Good evening, family. It is good to be here with you today, tonight, 6th of June, Friday. I had to come at you because so much is going on. We are in a cosmic dance of deep transformation, and June is one of an epic part of it. This is going to be a massive download. Join me, show me your names on the screens. Let's share the love, the wisdom, as we listen to the Shiva. Let's go. Alright, here we go, family, here we go. A bit of Shiva vibe. The destroyer and creator. The cosmic dance. Here I am. This is DJ NYK at Adiyogi Shiv Mantra Mix. Lovely, awesome. Hello Simone, hello Kylie, good. You will hear me a bit funny tonight. I kind of pushed myself to be on this love stream because I've been unwell all this week and I'm still coming out of it, so you could hear me a bit wheezy maybe or a bit sneezy sometime. But yeah, it's been a weird week. Hello Dana. Dana, I thought about you a lot this week. We need to connect. And yeah, so, I made an effort to show up because there's just so much epic unfolding happening in the skies that I have to share it with you. There is a lot going on. But I will start by saying love and gratitude to the Patreon community for your ongoing loving support through membership to our Patreon page and for being who you are on our chat rooms. I hope everyone enjoyed the full moon sound healing that was recorded a week ago. And if you wanna support me unconditionally, I'm a bit wavy in my energy, so if sometimes I zone in and out, you know why, but also because there's a lot to go through, so I'm kind of like, whoa, how am I going to give it to them in the best way? We have to trust and flow. Hey, hello D. Lennon, hello. Please press like on this movie, subscribe to our channel, share it with your friends and family and loved ones. And this week event, sound healing meditation for the full moon in Sagittarius on Wednesday evening. We are meditating on the full moon time. The full moon exact time will be at around 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday. The sound healing is at 7 p.m. So really amazing timing to join us and come for some good yummy healing. The group is almost full. So if you want to join us, please book it in. The booking link is in the blurb of this movie on our social media, or you can get it through the website, which is underneath me here, soundhealingdelight.com. And that's pretty much it for the announcement. And let's go into the heavens and talk about what's happening. So, I need a sip, just a second. Alright, so I'm going to change the music to a bit more relaxed, chill vibe. And so thank you DJ NYK, thank you so much. Thank you so much, really thank you. Now we're going into Shiva, beautiful Indian background music. I've been sitting a lot with Shiva energy lately, since the new moon. She came through the new moon in Gemini as well in the meditation. And she's been present in my energy transformation. So I thought, we have to honor Shiva. So we brought beautiful Indian background music, Shiva. I'll post the links in the blurb later. So, let's get into it. Straight into it. Okay, as we're looking at the chart, let's scan the skies. Right now, this is the exact chart of this moment. On your 11 o'clock, you can see Pluto on the 3rd degree of Aquarius in retrograde. Wow, I have to slow down this love stream. I don't have much capacity. Juno is on the 19th degree of Scorpio on your 1 o'clock, next to her black moon Lilith on the 7th degree of Scorpio. They were together on the new moon in Gemini. The moon is on 21st degree of Libra right now. The moon entered Libra last night, and she's, she will move into Scorpio over this weekend, which is going to be interesting by itself. But the moon in Libra, as soon as the moon entered Libra yesterday, she was in opposition to Saturn, which, okay, you know what? No, wait, sorry. Let's scan them first. South Node, 23 degrees of Virgo on your 3 o'clock. Mars in Leo on your 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, 23 degrees of Leo. Mars, about to go to the 24th degree. On your 6 o'clock, Jupiter on the 29th degree of Gemini. Jupiter is ending his 1 year long in Gemini as we speak in the coming couple of days. Jupiter moves to Cancer on Monday morning. And so we are kind of like, okay, Jupiter is doing his graduation now in Gemini. It's like, okay, so I've been in the classroom all this year. The teacher taught me all these things. I learned all this new kind of understanding, information, data. So now graduation. Let's see what I can assimilate based on the things that I've learned. And in case it's not clear, Mercury will make sure it is clear, because Mercury is home in Gemini, next to Jupiter on the 24th degree. And Mercury is moving very quick. He's now moving fast, 2 degrees a day. So Mercury is approaching Jupiter, and it will come very fast. It will come traveling to Jupiter and then conjunct together, and then Mercury will fly into Cancer to square Saturn and Neptune, followed by Jupiter moving into Cancer to square Saturn and Neptune. So this is a big point of this love stream. Wow, I didn't realize it would be that hard. I've been in silence most of the day. So Uranus on the 7 o'clock is 28 degrees 24 minutes in Taurus. So this is also a new degree for Uranus. First time Uranus is here since 1940. Ooh, what happened in 1940? Everyone knows that, right? Starts with a W. Continue with a W. And then number 2. Venus on your 8 o'clock. Venus is on 0 degree Taurus. That's a big shift of today. Venus moved into Taurus at 2:43 p.m. this afternoon. So Venus just entered Taurus, and Venus loves Taurus. This is her home. The goddess of love and beauty is coming into a beautiful sacred space that is filled with her kind of pleasures. Her cushions and her blankets and her fireplace and a cup of tea and her yummy food that she loves to eat and to cook. Her own veggie garden, organic food, her organic fruits, the raw food dessert yummy thingy in the fridge, and her favorite music and all her candles and all her oil burners. And she's walking into her temple and she's like, honey, I'm home. This is good for us. And that's a big positive benefit to the energy of June, which will be quite dynamic and intense at times. So Venus will be our grounding anchor. We should lean on Venus in Taurus throughout this month. Venus is in Taurus until around the 5th of July. And she will leave Taurus in the same way that Jupiter leaves Gemini into Cancer after, like literally hours after, Mercury conjunct Jupiter in the home of Mercury. The same thing is happening in Taurus next month. Venus will travel to Taurus, she will come to the 29th degree of Taurus, and she will conjunct Uranus on the 29th degree of Taurus right before Uranus is moving into Gemini. Venus will move into Gemini, and 2 days later, Uranus will move into Gemini. So it's very interesting how the ruling planets of those star signs are both touching base with the big planets that are in their home, creating big transformation to really kind of, this is the culmination point, this is it. We got it, it's finalized. And then they change in signs. Very fascinating. Now, it's a bit hard, but I'm doing my best. Chiron on the 25th degree of Aries, about to move into the 26th degree of Aries for the first time in our lives. Chiron is coming to Aries in 2018. So it's now 7 years of a journey that we are going through of like really dealing and healing the wounded self in the sense of self in Aries. How our personality got damaged, all the things that happened to us and affected us, insecurities and our lack of confidence and lack of drive and kind of like feeling like crippled or wounded or strange or weird. You know, that's what Chiron has kind of been processing with us since 2018. Now, Chiron was discovered in 1977. That's why and it was discovered when it was in Taurus. So we never really experienced, as humanity consciousness, awakened consciousness, aware consciousness, we never experienced Chiron on the 26th degree of Aries, because only in 1977 it came into our awareness. So we are dealing here with unfamiliar territory for our human psyche, consciousness. And now it's coming to this final, 26 degree of Aries. Is like, that's it, the final 3 degrees. So Chiron is also coming into its culmination phase here, saying, okay, so now that we have really set with the wound since 2018, how much work have you done on yourself, personal growth, shadow work, healing work, the whole 2020 saga, which is very much related to this energy. How much it took us into our homes, into isolation, alienation, all those things. People judged you, people criticized you, condemned you, alienated you. I'm just putting my phone on silence. And what did that cause us? What did that trigger? On top of that, the wounding that phase has caused to many innocent human beings in general. Because we don't even know how many birds and fish died from face masks floating in the ocean. So here comes the final kind of crescendo of Chiron in Aries and says like, okay, so let's take all this shit that we just been processing and let's take it into our new mastery. So now Chiron is going into his kind of like self-mastery, self-healing. The key is unlocking the box, and suddenly a new sense of self is emerging. Who supports that? Neptune and Saturn, that just went into Aries as well. So Neptune on your 9 o'clock, Neptune is on the 1st degree, about to go into the 2nd degree of Aries for the first time in our lives. And Saturn just came into Aries a week and a half ago. So we had these massive changes over the last couple of months, 3 months. We're going through the intensity and the dynamics of the day by day, but we need to understand that what we spoke about all this year, from the beginning of this year, we said it's like, it's epic. It's very rare. It doesn't happen. Like, this kind of dynamic shifts doesn't happen. It takes thousands and thousands of years for this kind of synchronized shift to happen. And I'm talking about the big remote planets. To have Pluto moving star sign from Capricorn to Aquarius, Neptune moving from Pisces to Aries, Saturn moving from Pisces to Aries, now Jupiter is moving from Gemini to Cancer, and Uranus is moving from Taurus to Gemini, all in a matter of 4 months. That's massive. So if you remember the love stream of January, February, back then I told you it's like, you go to a show and you watch the philharmonic kind of like orchestra playing this amazing classical music. They're doing this kind of like beautiful Beethoven kind of cover, and they're playing it and it's so beautiful. And then there is a stop. And it's a whole innovative show of bringing the classical and the modern, the old and the new. Maybe I'm coming up with a great concept now, because it's coming to me as I speak. And that concert ends in a moment. There's like a boom. And suddenly all the lights goes off. And you sit in the crowd and you go like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And boom. A techno-electronic DJ is dropping a most amazing sound effect that takes the entire place into a whole new vibration. Then the light effect guy is starting to bring in all these light effects. And there is this building up momentum of like, what the heck is going on? And there is like this thing, and the audience is captured. There's all these lights, there's all this sound, but it doesn't even know what's happening. He was watching this classical music kind of playing out, and suddenly there was a boom, and now there's this electronic sound that comes from everywhere, and light effects and everything. It goes like, whoa, completely overwhelmed by the experience. It doesn't even have time to fully understand it, process it, or even talk about it to his fellow neighbors to the concert, because he is fully mesmerized by it. This is what's happening now. This is these 4 months. So what I described to you might be a scene of maybe 5 minutes in real life situation of a concert such as that. But in the cosmic dance, I'm showing you how these 4 months is like that, where it's like it's all changing completely. Pluto from Capricorn to Aquarius, massive shift. Neptune from Pisces home to Aries, a whole new cycle of 164 years, massive shift, cardinal sign, initiative. Saturn ended Pisces, ending karma, releasing, surrendering into Aries, initiating a new karma, a new structure, a new identity, a new personality, massive shift. Now Jupiter moves from this Gemini of mental activity and information and thinking and processing and thinking and talking, and how can I expand my commerce and my business and my neighborhood and my home and my local environment, my car, my transportation, social media, internet, information, Twitter, X, Grok, AI. It's all coming at us. There is so much data, so much information, and it's happening so fast. And now with the AI, it's like, whoa, how much do you want to know? You can. Now you have more access to knowledge and information with the AI more than ever before. You don't need to search the web for hours to go from one website to the other. You put what you want to know in the AI and it scans the entire internet for you and gives you the most amazing answer within 30 seconds. And you can take it further and deeper. But now, Jupiter is moving from this Gemini that I just described into Cancer, into the water, into the emotions, into the feelings, into the heart, into home, into the inner child, into the mother, into the moon. So Jupiter in Gemini is air, it's intellect, right? But now Jupiter moves from air to water. It's kind of like, whoa, a massive shift. It's like, think like a couple that is dating. So they dating and they dating and they dating and they keep on dating because they want to get to understand each other and to analyze each other and to kind of think and process it, or okay, ticking this box, not ticking this box, ticking that box, not ticking that box, red flag, green flag, a lot of mental. But at the same time, the heart is developing its own language, and the heart is saying, I really like this. I feel good with this. There is love here to this, to feel and to explore and to experience. But the mind is still ruling it. So you go on another date, and then you have an argument, and you have a fight just for the sake of having an argument and a fight, to see what will you see in that person when they fight and argue. We are weird humans, you know. You look at kids, you look at dogs. You walk with a dog and the dog see another dog and they don't start talking. This is what I'm thinking about you. No, this is what I'm thinking about you. I don't like your fur. I mean, you seem like a nice dog, but your ears are a bit too big, or your nose is a bit too red, or, you know, the dogs, they don't do that. They just sniff each other bum. They sniff each other kind of like organs. Let's say it like that. They wave their tail. They get to sense each other. If they really like each other, they have a bit of a play. If they're kind of alright, but not so interested, they just keep on going. But they're feeling each other. And kids, you see kids interact. They don't see it's like, I don't know if I like this friend because of his background or his culture or his color of his skin, or he likes football and I like soccer. She likes netball and I like cricket. Kids don't do that. Kids just connect. But us adults, because we've been through so much, we use our mind a lot to analyze and interpret matters of the heart. And now this shift of both Mercury and Jupiter, that is this coming days, which is why I had to come for you, it's like it's a lot. This shift, hello Rukshika, hello beautiful sister, love you. You Bharat and Trishan and Jenaline, hello Jenaline, good to see you too Jenaline. And it was nice to hear that you missed the love stream. I love you for that. So Mercury and Gemini now, we are in Gemini season as well. So we have like Gemini season, Sun is in the middle of Gemini, 15 degrees of Gemini till 6 o'clock. We had the new moon in Gemini last week, and not this week, the one before. And that new moon in Gemini was very positive. It had beautiful alignments. It was about like it's time to create a new story. A new story. Let's go. And there was this beautiful alignments there of Mars was trining Venus over a long time. It was like a week of Mars trining Venus while we had the new moon in Gemini and other beautiful alignments. And it was kind of like, wow. Great energy for relationships. Great energy to relate, to meet, to connect. The masculine and the feminine are kind of harmonizing each other. They are flowing together. And as soon as that faded away, then came the bit of challenges. Thank you, Rook. I hope that you guys love the Shiva chant at the beginning. So, where was I? New moon. So there was that beautiful trine Mars to Venus, and then, you know what, let me take you back. Let's go back there. Okay, so here is the new moon in Gemini, okay? Why the new moon is important? Because the new moon initiated a new seed, a new intention. And now we are heading towards the full moon. I was like, okay, what needs to be released and cleared? What will be illuminated in order to create space and allowance for the new moon intention to manifest and unfold? So we had this new moon in Gemini, with Mercury moved into Gemini. So conjunct Mercury, moon, sun in your 7 o'clock in the chart. Mercury, moon, sun conjunct in Gemini, all in a beautiful trine to Pluto. So for transformation, for innovation, for kind of breaking through old traumas and old fears into exploring new territories with new kind of people, connecting in a new way, and kind of like embracing the different and the weird and the uniqueness. I said to people back then, if something drops into your life that is different and weird and just interesting and curious, go with it. Just go with it. Go with the weird. Go with the different. Because it supports our transformation. And it will ultimately help us identify and define, because it's Gemini. Identify, define, hashtag. What is this? How do you define this? So we're taking a kind of like our thoughts and our perception and our local environment, and all the immediate data in our local environment is processed in our conscious mind, and it creates a definition of perception of reality. So this new moon in Gemini is like, let's have a new perception. Let's have a new definition. Together with Mercury, wow, powerful. Trine to Pluto, transformative, amazing, awesome for you. At the same time, Venus on your 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, Venus was on the 20th degree of Aries, and Mars on your 4 o'clock was on the 18th degree of Leo. So within where was that? So Venus is trine Mars, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Mars in Leo feeling courage, royal, authentic. Yeah, I can be who I am. I can just embody myself and feel good about it. And whoever likes it, great. And who doesn't like it, alright, I don't care as long as I sing my song and I'm seen for who I am. Because Mars has done his retrograde from Leo to Cancer to Leo. It's like, oh my god, I just had to deal with all these insecurities. And you know what? I got a lot out of it. This is who I am. This is who I am. And I will embody that, and I will be confident in that, and I will sing my song, and I will look the way I want to look, and I will be seen the way I want to be seen. That's Mars in Leo. It has this brave, courage, mojo, kind of zhuzh of like, yeah baby. Venus in Aries, home of Mars. Very mutual, kind of beautiful, supportive. So on top of the fact that Mars is strong here, Venus was in his home, trining him, saying like, I'm all for you, baby. I really like who you are. I support that. I love you too. And it's like it can be from you and another person, but inside, your divine feminine, your spirit, was talking to your lower ego mind, saying like, hey, you got this right. You are awesome, just the way you are. You're beautiful just the way you are. And I love you when you're authentic. I love you when you sing your song, and I love you when you dress the way you want to dress. So big up yourself. I love you. That was the trine of Venus to Mars. And beautiful. Really, really beautiful. So that was the new moon. And then we're moving ahead. And that trine continues. Look, Venus 23, Mars 20. The moon moves through Cancer. That's the 30th of May. And then we kick into June. Then in June, moon comes into Leo, 1st of June. And the trine between Venus and Mars is breaking, but it's still there. As Venus is now after this trine with Mars, it's very important what I'm showing you now in order for what I'm about to show you later. So the moon is coming to meet Leo, Mars in Leo. After the new moon in Gemini with Mars trine Venus, the moon comes into Mars and saying, hey baby, I'm feeling you. And that's the 1st of June, last Sunday, recent Sunday, 5 days ago. Moon comes into Mars, is like, I'm feeling you, baby. Ooh, yeah, baby. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm feeling really good in my masculinity. And even if you're a woman, the masculine is in all of us, yeah? It's kind of like the masculine is our ego, it's our identity, it's our persona. It's kind of like, this is who I am, it's the I am, yeah? Venus is like, yes, I am love and kindness and softness and beauty. I'm beautiful. I'm taking care of my health and my body and my beauty and the way I look and my home, my aesthetics, all the environment. Mars is who I am inside, underneath the clothes. So the moon comes to Mars and is like, yeah, we are feeling it. And at the same time, Venus, who tried Mars before, what is she doing? She comes to meet Chiron. So she's processing vulnerability and insecurity. Kind of like, but is it really safe for me to be who I am? Because in the past I got hurt because of that. And is it really safe for me to be loved by another? Because in the past it hurt me and traumatized me. And Chiron is saying like, baby Venus, we've done this already since 2018. Every time you come here to Aries and you ask me the same question. And I love you for that, because you want to heal and you want to grow. But now we are meeting again on the 25th degree of Aries. Let's get this over and done with. What happened to you in the past happened to you in the past. It wasn't in order to destroy you. It was in order to... I have a phone call, I don't know who it is. It wasn't in order to destroy you. It was in order to help you. It was in order to help you understand how to heal that. How to heal that wound inside of you. That's what I want you to achieve. I want you to achieve your healing. So, as the moon conjunct Mars, feeling that masculine, Venus came to Chiron, so it was supportive. It was kind of like, wow, awesome. Good healing mode happening here. So that was on Sunday. We're moving forward. The moon kicks into Virgo. Mercury, and also, sorry, I forgot, Mercury was also conjunct the Sun at the same time. So we had this Mercury Sun in Gemini, 6 o'clock. That was on Friday, last Friday, a week ago. Mercury, after the new moon, the moon moved into Cancer, our home, and Mercury came to the Sun and was like, okay, so, yeah, let's make this, let's do this, let's try this, let's try. Because Gemini is this curious, youthful kind of like, let's give it a try, let's see what it brings. And if I don't like it, I'll change, and if I like it, I won't change, I just keep on going with that. So that happened. Oops. And then the moon moved into Leo, met with Mars as Venus came into Chiron, and then moon moved into Virgo, and Venus passed Chiron, and moon was with the south node on Wednesday, and this is where the energy started to play out a bit differently. Still supportive, but differently, because what we're having now, the other big shift I forgot, sorry. The other big shift that happened was also that Saturn moved into Aries on Sunday the 25th, okay? So now, coming back to Wednesday. So Wednesday, now Venus is coming to the end of Aries, 28 degrees. And as she comes into the 28 degrees of Aries, she's sextile Jupiter at the end, 28 degrees of Gemini. And they continue this sextile until the day after, when, excuse me, you're so lucky you didn't hear that cough. So, Venus comes into the 28 degree of Aries to really in that culmination kind of Aries star sign of self. Venus comes and is like, okay, so what do I want? What do I desire? This is what I want. This is what I desire. It's Aries. It's impulsive. It's primal. It's like this sexual kind of prime force. It's this I desire, I want, I need. This is my direction. This is this. And Venus is love, relationships, but also your jobs, career, finance. And she's in a sextile supportive development with Jupiter at the end, 29 of Gemini. So it's kind of like 28, 29. So Venus communicates with Jupiter. Jupiter is kind of saying, okay, so this is what we've learned from all the information we've gathered over the last year in Gemini. And this is what you have gained also, Venus, in all this retrograde you've been going through, from Pisces to Aries, back into Pisces, back into Aries. So Venus is finally moving out of Aries, where she did the retrograde. So Venus is also in this place of like, okay, culmination. So what did I just realize? Shedded, transformed, released when I went into Shambhala in my retrograde to get naked again, to strip naked, to detach, so I can emerge in a new form, in a new sense. And now I'm coming to the 29 degree of Aries, and I need to be determined about that. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I desire. No more delusional Pisces. No more manipulative kind of like lying and deceiving and cheats and affairs and all this yucky energy. No more hypocrites and no more narcissists and no more psychopaths and no more sociopaths, This kind of like the shadow aspects of Pisces. No more escapism. That's what Venus did in Pisces, into Aries. From now it's that. From now it needs to be mutual love, mutual respect, mutual honoring. It needs to be equal, it needs to be right, it needs to be just, because Chiron and Aries, they're in conjunction all this time. So Aries is making sure, it's like, I will never allow you to re-wound yourself again. I will fight for you, stand for you, march the streets for you, and I will push you to go against the old patterns of wounding yourself. This is Chiron and Aries while Venus was doing the retrograde. So now Venus comes into Aries, and I'm talking now about the last 7 months, right? Because that was the Venus retrograde, Pisces, Aries, into Pisces, Pisces, into Aries, back to Pisces, into Aries. That's been the last 7 months. So today, Venus came to this final moment in the last minutes in Aries as a culmination. This is what I deserve. It's with fire. It's not like a wuss. She's past Chiron. She's not a wuss now. She is roaring goddess of love, saying, this is my kingdom. and this is what I want and this is what I deserve, and Jupiter in a sextile saying, yes, Venus, because these are the lessons we have learned. This is the wisdom we have accumulated based on all the information given to us. So yes, I support your needs, I support your desires, I support what you deserve. That's the beautiful part there. On top of that, Mercury on the same time, which is, it's basically, this is last night astrology, okay? So the exact sextile of Venus to Jupiter. I'm breathing as if I ran like 10Ks. It started in my throat, I kicked it out of there. Went to my nose, kicked it out of there. So yesterday it suddenly went down into my lungs. So now I'm fighting it in my lungs. Shedding, transforming. We can't avoid the truth. You know? I always, when I get unwell or, you know, sick, I always know it's like it's a shedding, it's releasing, it's healing ultimately. So Thursday, yesterday, at 12:25 p.m. was the exact sextile of Venus to Jupiter. Okay? Something happened, and it could be very good, it could have been a very positive experience, but it could also be a negative experience. Because Venus at the end of Aries, after being with Chiron, after the retrograde, is talking to the guru, to Jupiter, and Jupiter saying to her, Venus, we have learned the lessons, baby. We know what we deserve, and we know what we don't deserve. So take that with you, baby. Take the wisdom. Leave the wounding behind. Leave the trauma behind. Leave the pain behind. But take the wisdom you have learned. So it could have been an argument. It could have been a fight. It could have been kind of an intellectual Gemini. An intense conversation that went magnified, Jupiter. It expanded. It became like very overwhelming and very big at the end of Gemini. Like, and it's Gemini season and Mercury is not that far behind. So it could have been very big talk. But at the same time, even if it was intense, there was a lot of wisdom and learning there. Because Jupiter ultimately is bringing the blessings. Jupiter is kind of like the abundant expansion, the blessings. So negative or positive, an important wisdom was definitely gained in this sextile that happened yesterday, 12:25 p.m. But remember, all alignments is not just the exact moments, it's the time leading to it, especially, but also fading away from it. Now, while this Venus sextile Jupiter was happening, Mercury is coming to the 21 degree, is about to come to the 22nd degree of Gemini, and Mars is on the 23 degrees of Leo. So now the 23 degrees is becoming an active degree. Until now it's the 28 degree. Now also pay attention how many planets are in very kind of critical and erratic degrees. Saturn, Neptune, 0 and 1st degree of Aries. Venus, 28 into the 29 Aries. Uranus, 28 Taurus. Jupiter, 28 Gemini. Mars, 23 degrees Leo. Everything is in this end degrees and beginning degrees. Right? So Saturn and Neptune beginning degree, but everything else is in this end degrees. So there's a lot of culmination here as well, which makes it even more loud. So the sextile between Venus and Jupiter continues, and here is today. And because Mercury is flying so fast, whatever Mercury is doing is very quick. It comes and it goes. It's not there for too long. So this is today, 6 a.m. I'm moving by the hours, and by the time we get to minutes now, by the time we get to, here it is. This is today, 7:56 a.m. Today morning, Mercury comes to the 23 degrees 41 minutes of Gemini. sextile Mars, 23 degrees 41 minutes of Gemini. Again, sextile supportive development, and this is following the sextile between Venus and Jupiter, which are still in a sextile, as Venus is ending Aries. So Venus is ending Aries' journey with the retrograde in a very big wisdom-gaining boost by the sextile to Jupiter at the end of Gemini, which Jupiter at the end of Gemini is getting a lot of this self-love, self-worth values from Venus. What's really important for her? What's really kind of like, what is our Venus, our feminine self? What is she stating to Jupiter as Jupiter is about to go into a journey of a year in Cancer, into home of emotions, of the heart, feelings, sensitivity? Venus is guiding Jupiter, saying, hey, Uncle Jup, as you go into Cancer, there's going to be a lot of water. There's going to be a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions. And it's really important for me that as you go there, into the heart, to expand and open the heart into new abundance, it's important for me that these values will guide the way. That's what Venus is reminding Jup. To support that, Mars in Leo, which was in a trine to Venus on the new moon, now you're starting to see why it was important. Mars in Leo, that was in a trine to Venus on the new moon, is now sextile Mercury. And so Mars, the masculine, is communicating with the mental, expressing its masculine traits. So Venus is talking, the feminine is talking to the wise part of us, to that inner guru, that kind of like wise teacher in us. They're talking on a philosophical level, ideological level. And then Mars, the ego mind, is talking directly to the mind and saying, yes, I also agree that my kingdom, my new kingdom, we have to make sure and communicate it very directly and clearly that in our kingdom, mutual respect is important, honoring is important, valuing is important, authentic love is important, courage and bravery to be our authentic self and express it and communicate it and talk about it and share it is important. So there's a lot of beautiful kind of like coding, programming of the new future that is happening now on these inner layers of the divine feminine and the divine masculine as the big planets are making all their shifts. Fascinating. It's epic. It's literally epic. It's so exciting because like this is it. That's it. There's no more bullshit. This is it. It's happening. The birthing is happening. The creation is happening. The programming is happening. The doors are opening, but it's not like fully clear yet. We're walking through a door and we don't fully know what's on the other side. We just know that we need to go through this door. And as we go through this door, it's like there's this kind of process of taking all that we've learned and everything that we realized and healed and matured and grown and karma we have outgrown and released and surrendered and traumas and pains and experiences and all the 2020 and everything which is still coming in this download. It's coming to these places like, okay, yes, this is coming. Nah, yeah, yes, from now on, no more of that, no more of that, only that, only that. Yes. Beautiful, really awesome. So the sextile, exact sextile between Mercury to Mars happened this morning at 7:56 a.m. As this sextile is breaking, but still in play, because Mercury is moving fast, Mercury is coming then, first comes, so as Mercury is still in the sextile with Mars, Venus on your 6, 7, 8 o'clock, 2:43 p.m., Venus comes home to Taurus. And I said it before, this is home for Venus. Venus is in total control of the energy here. She is the sacred goddess, creating the sacred space for her lovemaking, for her love cooking, for having family over, for having friends over, for feeling at home, feeling the love, feeling secured, stabilizing. She's been gone through a lot. A lot just happened. She went through this massive process in Aries, in Pisces. And there's been a lot of Gemini, a lot of mental, a lot of information, a lot of interaction. And now this Venus into Taurus is helping us stabilize. It's like, okay, we don't have to figure it all out now. It's a bit overwhelming. Can we just kind of like find Zen? Can we just meditate? Can we just sit? Sit with how we feel. Sit with what we feel. Sit with our beloved. Just be. Let's embody. Instead of just thinking and talking all the time, let's just embody love. Let's help each other feel safe. Let's help each other feel secure. Which is part of why I probably came on live tonight as well, you know? It's like, hey, let's give the family some love, you know? Let's bring the family together and just share some love, share some comfort, share some understanding. And that's Venus in Taurus. But it's a very special Venus in Taurus. Because Venus is entering Taurus and she's looking towards the last room in her house. Just towards the back exit. And she sees Uranus on the 28th degree of Taurus. So she is coming home, but home has a whole new frequency. The energy has changed. She is embodying her love, but in a new way, which could be a bit maybe foreign, a bit kind of alien to her. She may not fully understand why she's feeling love in this way, but she just knows that she's feeling love in this way. It could be for herself, it could be for others, it could be for a partner, it could be for a child, it could be for many things, a dog, a new cat, whatever. She's suddenly relating to her own sense of beauty in a new way, because Uranus brings that innovation, kind of like transcendence, raising the bar, raising the frequency, taking it higher, exploring beyond the familiar and the known. Uranus brings this kind of quantum leap jumps. It brings this kind of like suddenly out of nowhere something happened and zap you and bam, epiphany, enlightenment, higher truth, higher state of truth of love. That could be a beautiful headline for this Taurus journey of Venus in Taurus together with Uranus in Taurus for the final time. We might have another one next year in the retrograde, I'm not sure. No, final time of Venus in Taurus with Uranus. So, yeah, Venus will not see. That's right, Venus will not be with Uranus in Taurus for another 84 years after this one. So this is really kind of like, and this is the conjunction of Venus and Uranus will be on the 29th degree of Taurus. The culmination that this is it, boom, zapped. Until now you might have got kind of like glimpses, kind of like moments of inspiration. It's like, oh, I just had this vision and just visited you. It's like, oh wow, that's surreal. What was that about? How can that be? But this is it now. Venus has come home to Taurus. After the retrograde, she has shedded a lot with all the wounding, with all the Aries, everything I spoke about, with all the Chiron. I spoke about that. And she is now coming home to meet Uranus for this kind of like transcendence. This is it. Things are not gonna be the same ever again. Things are going higher. A higher love, a higher vibration of relationship, a higher vibration of commitment, a higher vibration of job, of career, of finance, of how you make money. Innovative ways, right? Innovating your income, innovating your business, innovating your health, trying kind of new things that raise your frequency. On a collective level, this means kind of like new discoveries and new developments with the AI and medical and health and well-being and finance as well, the cryptocurrency, the blockchain, Bitcoin standard, all that thing, the God candles, Godzilla candles, you know. We could expect something like that to unfold as Venus getting closer to Uranus. But be mindful, it also means that the old money is experiencing shocks and traumas because it's no longer valued. The old values are no longer kind of valid because of some shocks and traumas. because Taurus is also homeland security, army, police, forces, resources, food, agriculture, Mother Nature. We could expect that from now into July we could have increasing volcanic activity, increasing earthquakes, increasing kind of like natural disasters, extreme weather scenarios. Yeah, this is unfortunately also on the chart. It could also be kind of like a very abrupt kind of extreme acts of war, of yeah, remember this is like Uranus traveling to the degrees of 1940, World War. Let's hope we can take a higher route this time, but you know, we can see it, it's on the chart. But yeah, also be aware, you know, if you live in very kind of active areas on the planet, or volcanoes and earthquakes, you know, there's no need to be in fear, you know, at the end of the day it is what it is. But put it like that, if your house is in the middle of the woods and the hot season is coming in, and I mean, if you're on the other side of the world, hot season coming in and there's a risk of fires, you know, have your plan how to go, when to go, have your water. Same over here, you know, if you live next to a volcano or on a ley line of an earthquake, or you know, next to the ocean, you can't stop the inevitable, and because Uranus is also the unexpected, you may expect that to happen, and that will happen. But you know, at least you can kind of like have a plan, know what to do when you need to do, and lean on your own resources, and trust, also trust. Have faith and trust that you are safe and protected by the divine forces of love. That's the main thing, you know. Venus home is saying like, you're safe. If you're home in the heart, in love vibration, you're safe. Don't be afraid of anything. I've been through so much shit in my life, and I'm telling you, it's like I'm still here. There's no need to be afraid. Worst thing can happen, we can die. And then what? What's the point being afraid of it? So kind of like, just live in love. Live in love and make the best out of every day. Even if it's a shit day. No shit, no mushrooms. So, Venus and Uranus in Taurus journey. From now into the... Venus will be in Taurus until the 5th of July, and Uranus moves out of Taurus on the 8th of July. So, yeah. We are talking now a very, very dynamic month. A lot can happen. And we will see a lot happening. Okay, and I think if you're following world events, you can see it happening since all this energy is kicking in. What's happening with Elon Musk and Trump is just, you know, there's a lot to say about that. But things like that, take them as a metaphor for the energy. So, back to the chart. Venus, I said, entered Taurus today, 2:43 p.m., while Mercury is still in a sextile to Mars, but breaking out. But as Mercury is breaking out of the sextile to Mars, now Mercury is building a sextile to Chiron and Aries. Okay? So now we're gonna move a few hours forward as Mercury comes to the 25th. Oh, sorry, so this is already tonight after the live stream. So while we are talking right now, Mercury is building the sextile to Chiron and Aries, and it happens Mercury Aries around tomorrow early morning around 5:30 a.m. and Mercury Chiron exactly is happening at here it is. Mercury Chiron exact sextile is tomorrow at 9:49 a.m. So this information may bring up some things, but also it could be that tomorrow morning, or you will have reflections or processing unfolding that is kind of regarding your sense of wounding. And remember, this is the backdrop of the new moon in Gemini with the Mars trine Venus, followed by Venus sextile Jupiter, followed by Mercury sextile Mars, and at the same time the moon is, by that moment of Mercury sextile Chiron, the moon is in Libra. So the moon is coming to Libra at the end of Libra to oppose Chiron. And it's kind of like the moon, the emotional body, tonight, as we are talking, and into our sleep time, into our morning time, the moon is going through Libra, and it's like, I just want to have a fair love. I just want to have some equality and balance and fairness and harmony in my life. That's all the moon wants in Libra. Can we just have a bit of harmony, please? That's what Venus wants. The moon. But as she comes into this end of Libra, it's like, come on, I just want some harmony. Let me feel harmonious. Let me have some balance. She's opposing Chiron. It's like this kind of sense of wounding. It disturbs my balance. It disturbs my harmony. That's what Moon and Chiron are doing in opposition. We are feeling like we want to have this harmony feeling inside. Justice, fairness. But it's kind of like, on the other hand, it's confronting like this, how we got wounded by something, how we got hurt by something, how we insecure about something. So as this opposition is happening, Mercury in Gemini is home, very sharp, very quick, very receptive, analytical, processing. Is sextile in Chiron. See? 25th here on your 6 o'clock, Mercury. Sextile Chiron on your 7 o'clock. On your 8 o'clock, sorry. But also Mercury trines the moon. So there is this meditative, mental, reflective energy. Perfect way to describe it. It's like, sit with what you feel. Meditate with it. Don't let it take you anywhere. Find the balance. Find your inner balance. Be zen, yin and yang. Find your inner balance. As you process that wounding, that insecurity, that unjust, that disturbed your harmony, just meditate. Don't judge. Observe. Process. Mercury helps. Mercury is helping the moon to process her feelings, as its supportive Chiron to develop further healing. There's no need to be wounded by this anymore. We can just process it differently in a way that heals us rather than wounds us, and that promotes the feeling of fairness and balance and harmony within. That's happening tonight into tomorrow morning. As Jupiter is on the 29 degrees of Gemini, graduation. So, and then the moon is passing that, and by tomorrow afternoon, by 12:23 p.m., the moon moves into Scorpio. And here, after the moon was yearning for that harmony and balance, processing the wounding, the hurt, processed by the mind in Gemini, they're taking all the information, but supportive, the kind of like reflective, analytical realizations, thinking, because Mercury, whatever he's doing there, with the sextile to Chiron, with the sextile to Mars, the mind is doing this, is laying down the groundwork for these final decisions, realizations, which will come as Mercury conjunct Jupiter on the 29th degree of Gemini. It's a beautiful process. So, excuse me. That was a good one. So, beautiful process. And then the moon comes into Scorpio. And the moon comes into Scorpio. And what does the moon loves to do in Scorpio? To feel deeply, to merge, to connect on a deeper level. It's no longer just kind of like superficial kind of fluffiness. It's like, I want to feel you. I want to merge with you. I want to feel that merging. I want to bond. I want to connect. Not necessarily just with a partner or with someone else, but with yourself. It's like, come on, let me feel me. I want to feel me, my deepest feelings, my deepest emotions. And the moon comes into Scorpio to bring that emotional intensity, also as to lay the ground for the approaching transit of Jupiter into Cancer, into the water. It's all supportive of each other. It's beautiful. And now, the next thing that is happening, so the moon comes into Scorpio, and we travel, and we travel, and we travel, and the next, sorry, the other thing that also, the moon comes into Scorpio, enters the Scorpio kind of arena. Remember, Venus entered Taurus today afternoon, and 24 hours later, tomorrow at 2:21 p.m., the moon comes into Scorpio to oppose Venus. So here is Venus home in Taurus, stable in her sense of love. She meditated with all the things that has been happening to her over the last few days. She's reflected, she's been processing it, she's been sitting with it. And then Venus comes home into Taurus and suddenly things become a bit more stable. Or they're in the process of stabilizing, of slowing down, of coming home to self-love, to nurturing, to self-value, to self-worthiness. And the moon, after the journey in Libra with that Chiron Mercury alignment, moon comes into Scorpio and is like, let me feel that love deep inside of me. Now that I'm home, Venus in Taurus. Now that I'm home, now that I'm stable, now that I'm worthy, now that I'm valued here. Let me feel me. Let me feel me on a deep level. And it could be with a partner as well. It could be with friends, could be with family, right? Because Taurus is family, home, friends, kind of like partners, relationships. So overall, it's beautiful, but it can be in different ways to different people, right? So that's why it's important to understand it's very complex collective astrology. For some people, it could be super amazing. For some people, it could be like a bit of a tough experience, right? Because if you're in a relationship that is not really right for you and it's not the right thing for you, and this is very much kind of like you really getting into the nitty-gritty juicy stuff of saying like, no, I'm not doing the same shit again. No, I've learned from my past mistakes, not doing the same shit again. And so this could be kind of like also having really intense conversations or communications about what really matters, about what's really valued, about what's really loved, and what's not. It's like simple as that. But overall, it's very positive. It's even if it's negative for you personally, it's very positive. Just know that. Very, very positive transformation is happening, although it could be very overwhelming on mental and emotional level, because a lot is going on. Because on top of everything I'm describing to you with the personal planets now, remember in the backdrop, Saturn and Neptune just kicked into Aries. And that's a whole new ball game. Neptune, a new dream, a new vision, a new spirituality, a new way of being spiritual, a new way of praying, a new way of connecting to spirit, to your higher source, to your love, to your sensitivity, to your intuition, to your vision. What's this new vision of self that Venus has been processing in the last 7 months over there? And then Saturn comes in as well as like the new structure, the new karma, the new identity. So it's kind of like it's almost like Saturn comes with his walls in and saying like, no, listen, we've done a lot of work and we kind of released and let go of things that we don't need, but this is who we are. Control of identity, control of personality. I'm not letting go of that part of myself. This is who I am. I'm keeping that because it's my integrity. But Saturn cannot stand the power of Neptune there. Neptune is like the ocean. The tsunami is just washing over the world. The dam is just over flooding. And it's like it cannot contain who you are. The structure you're trying to hold on to. It cannot be contained because Neptune is just dissolving it, washing it away. It's like, you want to know your new spirituality? You want to know your new dream? You want to know your new vision? You want to know your new sensitivity and mysticism and telepathy and intuition and dream time? You want to know that? then follow me. That's what Neptune is saying. Follow me, follow spirit. North Node is in Pisces. Follow spirit in everything you do right now, in every decision you make now. Your highest and most important counsel is with spirit. What's true to your spirit? What's true to your spiritual journey? It's the North Node in Pisces saying to us, hey, remember that. Now, South Node in Virgo. It's not about what you planned. The details that are important to you and the analytics and anal about things, like this is how I should be, this is a deal breaker, this is not a deal breaker, this is a red flag, this is a green flag. Neptune is coming and saying, yo, dude, stop disturbing the flow. You're too much in your head. And this is what this energy is. There's a lot of head, there's a lot of mental, there's a lot of process happening on the mental level of self. Jupiter, Mercury, the end of Gemini in Gemini season. Uranus, the higher mind, the higher truth. At the end of Taurus, a most embodied kind of sense of self. Process of like massive shifts in the divine masculine, the divine feminine. Everything is communicating with everything. We are in the transmutation process. That's what it is. We are forming into the butterfly, but we don't necessarily know what butterfly we are forming into. And so you're trying to grip into control of your identity. But just remember that when I was a caterpillar, I had purple and yellow colors. And it's like, yeah, shut up. Don't you know that when you mix purple and yellow, it becomes green? You're going to be a green butterfly, not purple and not yellow. Oh, I didn't think about that. Thank you. Now can you please allow the cosmic divine plan to unfold without you interrupting? You and your plan? That's what the South Node and the North Node are doing. Just follow spirit. Don't be so anal. I always thought to myself on my vision board and in my vision quest that my next love will be this and this and this and this and this and this and that and that and that and so many definitions and so many affirmations. And here comes the last few weeks and something new maybe came into your life and you go like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. It's very different. It has this and this and this, but it doesn't have that and that and that. But it's still interesting and I'm still curious because I'm feeling something, but I don't know. It's like for example, it might be a new career. It's like, oh, this is my resume, it's on my LinkedIn, it's on my Twitter, it's on my blah blah, and this is the kind of jobs I can apply to. But I don't know, I feel like that I'm kind of done. Let's say accounting. I'm kind of done with accounting. I want to become a police officer. It's like, whoa, why? Well, I did say that I want a secure income, a steady income, a good structure, a good this, a good that. I will get that as a police officer, but I didn't realize that will come in. It was like, oh wow, suddenly I've been offered an interview, for example. And so it's kind of like this thing of like, hey, keep on processing, keep on observing, keep on reflecting, keep on just watch and navigate through the heart. But at the same time, don't try to control the process. There is a big forces happening here. So just follow. Follow where the heart guides. Follow the curiosity of spirit. That you know, at the end of the day, Gemini is kind of like, let's just go and see what happens. Gemini is curious. Let's see what I can learn from going to this kind of concert. Let's see what I can learn by going to that kind of workshop. Oh, I mean, it wasn't really for me, but it was nice. It was lovely. I did learn this and this and that. That's Gemini. And Jupiter is like the planet of exploration. It's the opposite of Gemini. Jupiter is in a weak spot here. Because the home of Jupiter is Sagittarius, the opposite direction. So for Jupiter, it's kind of like, I really want to kind of philosophize and expand, but all this analytical mind just doesn't even let me deal with that because I keep on being told I need to do homework and download more information, and I'm not even managing to meditate on it and to understand what I'm learning here because there's just so much download. So it could be download overwhelm. It could be like a lot coming through, and you are feeling like your consciousness is being flooded with new insights and new information and new understanding and new realization. You don't even have time to sit with it. It just keeps coming. There's more downloads, more conversation, communication, interactions that just keep on bringing things at you, and you go like, whoa, this was amazing, whoa, what a download, whoa. But it continues. It just continues. That could be the mental overwhelm. It's like you're trying to get a grip of everything. You're trying to control all the data, all the information, all the experience, but you are taken for a ride. And any one of you who's done shamanic medicine, you know, when you do shamanic medicine, the more control you have, the more suffering you have. The more release and surrender you have in a journey, the more amazing the experience is. So it's kind of like, don't control the journey. You set your intention, you set your direction, now sit and watch. Let the download show you what you need to know in every moment without the need to grasp to anything and to write down everything, just experience. And so that's what also Saturn and Neptune are doing there. They're coming into the conjunction, but they are not really in conjunction until next year. So by the time we get to, this is Saturday, by the time we get to Monday, Saturn moves to the first degree of Aries and Neptune moves to the second degree of Aries, and they are within 1 degree gap, which is a conjunction. It's kind of like really tight, but they never really conjunct. They both will station retrograde, go back into Pisces, station direct, come back into Aries, and only meet at the end of January of 2026. That will be the conjunction. So I said that last love stream, from last love stream, we are in this 9 months of transmutation, of a process, which will be kind of like stamped on and finalized, structured at the end of January 26. Very amazing process happening here. So let's move on to the next station. We stop with the moon entering Scorpio. This is Saturday afternoon. And now we're moving forward. Mercury moves to the 27. The moon traveling through Scorpio. The sun 17 Gemini. And now we are looking at 6 o'clock. Mercury is approaching Jupiter. There it is. Monday is massive. This is a very big weekend, but Sunday night into Monday is massive. Excuse me, it's like, okay. Sunday night into Wednesday night is super bombastic, super fantastic. This is kind of like, whoa. So now all these days we're having this kind of like laying the ground communication. Everything is happening. Venus with Jupiter, Mercury with Mars, Mercury with Chiron, Mercury with Aries. Then Venus moves into Taurus as the moon comes into Scorpio. And now we're coming into this point where Mercury is coming to the end of Gemini and meets with Jupiter. And that happens on Monday at 6:20 a.m. So Monday early morning, this could mean, and remember, it's the build up to it. So Sunday, mainly Sunday evening, but throughout all Sunday. Remember, it could happen tomorrow, right? Because it's in the air. But the exact kind of proximity is Monday 6:20 a.m. Melbourne time. And this is big talks. This is conversations, this is realizations, this is reflections, this is definitions, this is statements. Big statements. Jupiter expanding, magnified. It's kind of like, it's mind-blowing. The mind is blown away. The conversation is blown away. Lucky we have Venus in Taurus to stabilize, to ground, to make sure that we feel safe and secure, and the other feels safe and secure. As Mercury comes into Jupiter, there's a lot of mental activity here, so be very aware of your mind. Be aware that it is busy, it's gonna get even louder and busier most likely. There will be a lot of headlines, there will be a lot of news. This Trump Elon Musk concept is going to continue to inflate. What will that affect on the relationship of international dynamics? Ooh, yeah, baby. With risk factor, because at the same time that Mercury and Jupiter are conjunct, we've got Mars on the 25th degree 17 minutes of Leo on your 4 o'clock. Mars is trining Chiron and Aries. So there's a trine here. That's why I think it's overall positive. Because the Mars in Leo is harmonizing Chiron. So whatever realization, conversation, understanding is happening here, exchange of information, is really definitive, clear, understood, graduated, and lessons of wisdom of Jupiter and Gemini of a year journey is really coming to full realization and full definition, which helps the masculine self to harmonize the wounded the wounded sense of self in Aries, the home of Mars. So regardless of what will that be for you, it is healing, it is beneficial, it is growth orientated, it is defining a whole new big story, expanding the mind beyond what we knew until now, talking in a new way, thinking in a new way, that allows our masculine self to feel healed, upgraded. But at the same time, the moon in Scorpio is building a square to Mars. Now I have to take a break because I need to go. My bladder is calling me. I leave you with this beautiful meditative chant while I go and come back quickly. Honey, I'm back. Hey baby, how you doing? I'm sure you're enjoying this beautiful background music. Okay, so Mercury conjunct Jupiter at the final degree 29. Yeah, I knew you're gonna learn. Pleasure. If you want, you know what? I'm gonna drop the link in the chat room right now so you all can enjoy it. Here it is. Dropped into the chat room. Enjoy it in your personal time and support them as well if you wish. So, Mercury conjunct Jupiter on the 29th degree, 46 minutes of Gemini, graduating the journey learned of the last year. In preparation for the next epic thing. So this until now it's been kind of like whoa, whoa, whoa. But now comes the epic. Okay? So pay attention what's happening. But at the same time, I wanted to say before, at the same time this conjunction is happening, we have this beautiful trine between Mars, Chiron and Aries, in Aries. Harmonious, flowing, beneficial. But there is a challenge here, because there's this big square building up, and it's intense square. So I guess what it means, like I'm saying the positive, we will grow from this, wiser, we will understand things better, bigger. It will help us expand our consciousness and our state of mind. Mercury conjunct Jupiter in the end of Gemini. It will promote the healing of our wounded sense of self and our masculinity, the trine between Mars and Chiron. But it will and could be intense. But intensity sometimes is important. You can make love and it's beautiful and soothing, and sometimes you can have this intense love making that takes you to the best orgasms ever, right? So sometimes intensity can be overwhelming, but at the same time very beneficial and good for you. And what is in this intensity? We've got the moon coming to the end degrees of Scorpio, intense by itself, wants to merge, wants to feel deeply. It feels deeply even if it doesn't want to. There's a lot of big emotions, big feeling on a deep level. Everything is rising up to the surface. The moon is very intense in Scorpio. And as the moon comes to the end degrees of Scorpio here at your 1 o'clock on the chart, at the moment of the conjunction of Mercury and Jupiter, the moon is on the 20th degree of Scorpio. Mars, so pay attention now to the game of the 23 to the end degrees of the signs. Moon will travel from the 20th degree to the 29th degree of Scorpio. The nodes are on 23 degrees. So when the moon comes to the 23 degrees, it will trine the north node, sextile the south node. When the moon will come to the 26th degree, when the moon will come to the 25th degree of Scorpio, it will square Mars. When the moon comes to the 28th degrees of Scorpio, it will oppose Uranus. That will give us the emotional tone, the trigger for the bigger intensity of Mars squaring Uranus. And that's gonna be very strongly felt in the world and in ourselves, in our lives. But remember, it's ultimately positive, but could be intense and overwhelming. So heads up. So this is Monday early morning, and the saga begins. An epic Monday begins. You wake up into your morning meditation, and you put your mind Mercury together with the Guru, Jupiter, in meditation, thinking, reflecting, receiving information, understanding, realization, definition. The moon is in Scorpio. It resonates with you on a psychic level. You're very psychic, you're very intuitive, you're very deep, you're very feeling. And then, we're gonna go now by the hours. Mercury passed Jupiter. Mercury moves so fast. So this conjunction with Jupiter is max 1 hour, max. Very quick. By 8:58 a.m., 2 hours later, after the conjunction of Mercury and Jupiter, by 8:58 a.m., Mercury is moving to Cancer. And suddenly the mind, the mental force, the communication is going into the heart, into the feelings, into the emotions. And now we have water, a lot of water. Now we have Mercury in Cancer with the moon in Scorpio, psychically, intuitively feeling on a deep level, which helps our mind, mental, to go into the emotions, to go into the feelings. Mercury comes into Cancer. While Jupiter is graduating. The final hours of Jupiter in Gemini. Then the moon comes into the next thing, okay. Then here comes the moon to the 25th degree of Scorpio. And by 3:56 p.m. on Monday, the moon comes to the 25th degree of Scorpio 30 minutes on your 1 o'clock, and the moon squares Mars exactly in Leo on your 4 o'clock. And here we have really deep, intense feelings, emotions, which are having a friction with the masculinity. The drive, the assertion, there might be a bit of a power surge here. It might feel as an overpowering feelings, emotions, dynamic. Okay? And it could be shocking. It could be kind of like, I didn't see that coming. Because the moon is also building up the opposition to Uranus on the 28th degree of Taurus on your 7 o'clock. And the moon is also in a quincunx to Chiron. So there's a lot going on here. While Mars is trining Chiron, promising that this action is ultimately for healing, underlying the intensity, there is this knowing that this is for healing. I am healing through this no matter what happens. Mercury in Cancer is like, we are really processing emotions and feelings now. Jupiter ending the journey in Gemini is like really accumulating the knowledge, experience, and assimilating the graduation, the lessons, the expansion of the mind. While Mars is trining Chiron, and then suddenly comes this kind of moon, in the emotional body comes into these dynamics, and it begins to kind of like square Mars. This is how I'm feeling, this is what I want to feel. Quincunx Chiron, I don't like feeling wounded like that, I don't like feeling kind of like this insecurity. Opposing Uranus, other people really annoy me. Uranus is other people, the world. Some people did something to you that kind of like really, they threw something at you and it kind of like you went like, whoa. But Mars is saying to Chiron, is like, nah man, we are over this shit. We are not going to spiral with this down. We're not going to allow this wounded sense of self to take over and guide us based on all these shadows of insecurities and wounding. And we've learned a lot. We've come far, and we've learned that we don't need to prove ourselves. We don't need to prove our point. Our point is our point. All we need to know is, what is our point? What is our definition? What is our understanding? What is our way of thinking, our way of being, our way of feeling? We don't need to prove it to anyone. We don't need to fight over it. We don't need to argue. We don't need to fight for control or power. Because we have the control and power over ourselves. We are royal. We are love. We are divine beauty. We are divine intelligence. Each one of us is a divine essence of God. Is a divine essence of love. We don't need to prove to another human being our divinity. We are divine, just the way we are. And if someone else doesn't like it, they are allowed. But it doesn't mean that I'm not divine. For example. So there's no more rejection. There is no more, they don't love me, they don't want to be with me, I'm imperfected, I'm wounded, I'm not loved. There's none of that, because Venus is home in Taurus. Lucky for us. Venus is saying, I'm home, baby, don't worry. Whatever is happening for you out there in the world, come back to me, I'm home waiting for you, I'll hug you and I love you and I kiss you and I'll cook for you and I'll make medicine for you and I'll give you whatever you need because I'm here for you. Venus in Taurus. In a whole new frequency. Venus is embodying a whole new frequency with Uranus in Taurus for the final time. This is transcendence. We are transcending. The world is transcending. Reality is transcending. We are experiencing a paradigm shift in front of our eyes, in front of all of our senses. We're trying to make sense of it, but it doesn't make sense because it's bigger than us. And all we can do is just have faith Let Spirit guide the way. If it feels spiritually right, then it is. If it feels spiritually wrong, then it is. As long as we don't delusion ourselves based on old philosophies, because Jupiter has been exploring new ways of thinking, new philosophies, new methods, new rituals, new environments, new study, all this year in Gemini. And all this is the build-up to the full moon. Because from Scorpio, the moon goes into Sagittarius for the full moon. So from this moment, actually from this moment of this moon square Mars, moon oppose Uranus, moon quincunx Chiron, from this moment, and while Mars trine Chiron, while Mercury just moved to Cancer, while Jupiter is ending Gemini, all this is happening. And even more, yes, of course. From this moment, we are rising into the full moon officially. Okay? Which means that things are becoming even more illuminated. The water are surfing up. Everything is rising. And it's like full moon rising, begins to rise with moon in Scorpio. It's like, ooh, you will feel it. Don't wander around if you're going to feel it or know what it's about for you. You will feel it. It will happen. You will know when it happens. And the most important guideline, I will say, is to do whatever you can, not to be impulsive, not to act on kind of an emotional urge. It may be guided by your old wounding self. It may be guided by your old programming kind of code of conduct. This energy is saying like you'll be really wise and you grow a lot if before you act in the outside world, you will come home to find balance and to find stability within you. Sit, reflect, process, feel inside of you before you present it outside. You might need an hour, you might need 2 days. Do whatever you need to feel stable, to feel secure, to feel balanced and zen, so that when you will come and deliver the interaction with another, you're acting from that wise, mature part of yourself, Neptune and Saturn in Aries. We are birthing a new karma here. Let's start with good karma, hey? Let's plant seeds of good karma. Let's act differently with our impulse, Aries. Our impulsive, fiery, abrupt, angry, upset, childlike, I want, I need, I this. Neptune and Saturn in Aries, they're on the first 0 and first degree, are saying like, yo, dude, just make sure that we're planting seeds of good karma here, guided by the divine love, guided by spirit, and we are doing this better. We have matured, we have graduated, we have raised the level spiritually. We don't need to act in the same way anymore. There's no need for that impulse to take over anymore. We are now bigger than that. We are better than that. And so like exploring new ways of interacting on an emotional, mental level. This is, remember, the new moon in Gemini was all about creating new stories that excites you. Get excited. There's a new paradigm starting here. There's a new dream starting here. There's a new quest starting here. It's like started with excitement and curiosity. Don't be too much in your mind. Let spirit guide the way. Follow your heart. So this energy is saying like, of course there will be challenges. Of course there will be intensity. There is no transformation, transcendence without chaos. It's necessary. Shiva. That's why the Shiva energy. The cosmic dance of destruction and creation. It's kind of like there will be chaos when there is rebirth. There will be chaos when there is transcendence. But most important thing is like take all the wisdom you've gained. Take all the spiritual growth you've made. Take all the healing you've done on yourself. Take all the experiences that taught you self-love and self-worthiness and self-value and who you are and who you are not. Do not repeat the same mistake again. You don't need to act in the same way anymore. You don't need to think in the same way anymore. You don't need to communicate and express yourself in the same way anymore. You've done that. You've outgrown that. It's time to do it in a new way. Take the new route. Take the new journey. Follow the heart. Don't be too much in your head, although the head will be super busy. This will be very overwhelming mentally for some people and emotionally. So, go in before you go out. Act within before you act outside of you. And you will grow, and you will heal, and you will be amazed by the things you realize. So, this is setting up the tone for the new moon rising. And now we're going by the hours further. Oh, what's now building on top of this? It's continuing. What's building on top of this is that Chiron on Monday also moved to the 26th degree of Aries for the first time in our life. So we are now experiencing the wounded healer, master, teacher coming to a new territory that we never explored consciously before. Delivering these healing remedies, healing keys, healing realizations about our sense of self that we never even entertained before. So that will be fascinating as well. To top up the intensity, it gets even more intense. Because in the background, after we had this beautiful 2 weeks of the feminine and the masculine, in the trines and the sextile, and the new moon started with this beautiful harmonious flow and initiation and supportive developments, and all that was happening over the last 2 weeks. Now comes the friction, now comes the challenge, now comes the breaking point. I was like, okay, we have set the tone, we have laid down the ground, we've brought you some goodies, we have allowed some flow to unfold, and now comes that the breakthrough. And the breakthrough comes through the challenge. And the challenge is intense. We're having a build-up of the masculine and the feminine, building two very intense squares. On your 8 o'clock, Venus on the 3 degrees of Taurus is building a square to Pluto on your 11 o'clock on the 3 degrees of Aquarius. Venus is home in Taurus, she is very strong. Pluto is in Aquarius. Who is the ruler of Aquarius? Uranus. Where is Uranus? In Taurus, the home of Venus. What is Uranus expecting? The arrival of Venus into a conjunction in a month from now. Okay. So you see how this download continues further into July. This square between Venus and Pluto is an intense one. They don't like each other because Venus rules Taurus, Pluto rules Scorpio. They are the opposites. Venus wants to feel safe, and Pluto says, I need to transform and transcend this fear of being unsafe. So I'm going to confront you with your fear. Venus says to Pluto, leave me alone with the fears, with the traumas. Enough, I had enough of you. I want to feel love, I want to feel safe, I want to have a beautiful home and a beautiful love and harmony and beauty all around me. And Pluto says to her, then why are you so afraid of love then? Why are you so afraid of the different, of the weird, Aquarius, of the unique, of the rebel, of the quirky, of the different culture, of the different age, of the different background? Why are you so afraid of trying the new, the path that you never dared to walk before? Why are you so afraid of being an alien on planet Earth? What's so wrong about it? Aren't we aliens on planet Earth at the end of the day? You know, we call ourselves humans, but we are just like beings on a planet surfing through the infinite cosmos. We are as aliens as the aliens, basically. But bring that to reality. Don't be afraid to be different than other people. You know, no, but usually people, you know, they do this and they do that because that's what love is. The society is expecting love to be like that, and you're not supposed to hold hands in public, and you're not supposed to make love on the beach. So, So what if the majority of people says that it's not nice to make love on the beach? Well, you need to respect society and the rules. And it's like, yeah, okay, we will not make love on the beach in the middle of a hot weekend in the middle of the day, but we can go to the beach in the middle of the night when there's no one there, and we can make love in a tent on the beach, baby. Oh, that's exciting. I mean, it's a bit intimidating, it's a bit scary, but at the same time, it's also arousing. Should we? Why not? Just one example, right? But on an intense level, this is a square, which means there is a friction. Venus wants to feel safe, loved, home, relationships. She's facing Pluto in Aquarius. The future is unknown. Robotics, AI. How am I supposed to feel safe with my income when the AI is about to take all of our jobs? We're all gonna be doomed. So Pluto brings this fear of the future, of robotics, of AI, for example. Pluto can bring up the fears of the future of finance and economy for people, Taurus, Venus. It's like, oh my god, the bonds market is crashing, crypto is crashing, oh my god, Trump and Elon are having a fight, oh my god, Putin and Trump and Beijing and Trump, and oh my god, and Israel and the Middle East, and all this is like, that's it guys, we're done, the world is going, that's it. The future is doom and gloom, fears of the future. And then comes the theories. Everyone has theories. Jupiter and Mercury at the end of Gemini. Everyone has something to say. Everyone thinks they are the guru. Everyone becomes a guru. Everyone becomes a rabbi. Everyone becomes a priest. Everyone becomes like the social media is gonna be so loud. Wow. Everyone will say, what's the right philosophy? What's the right wisdom? What's the right things? And they're gonna preach. You're gonna see a lot of preachers. This is the truth. No, I know the truth. Like, no, listen. Humble your freaking ego. You know, a lot of spiritual people has a huge ego. It's kind of like, man, as soon as you think you transcended your ego, you fell down the trap of a newly created ego. Humble yourself. What do you know? You only know what you know. I only know what I know. Most of the time I feel dumb. Honestly. Most of the time I'm thinking like all that I know and I still can feel dumb. Truth. And I have no problem with that because it humbles me. I have no problem knowing that there's so much more for me to know and all I know is just a little, you know? So, it's kind of like the intense square. It's very intense because we have like this kind of like Venus square Pluto building up to the full moon. So it's like we're already building up to the full moon, intense energies, illumination. But overall, this intensity, this specific intense pocket, which I only spoke about Venus square Pluto, but at the same time, pay attention, Mars on your 4 o'clock, 25 degrees of Leo, Mars is also building up the square to Uranus. So the divine feminine, the divine masculine, which was previously from the new moon, in harmonious trine, and then sextiles to the Jupiter and the Chiron and the Mercury, there was all this beautiful, supportive, harmonious flow that set the ground. Now comes the intensity of like breaking through the challenge, through the intensity. So the divine feminine is facing Pluto in Aquarius, her fears of the future, fears of the unknown. If it's regarding her job, her money, finance, people could freak out and have massive anxieties over their finances over the coming week, days specifically. And then at the same time we've got Mars creating the square to Uranus, the divine masculine. And Uranus is basically saying like, and it's interesting because there's a lot of mutual reception here. Venus is home in Taurus. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, is together with Venus in Taurus. So the Taurus is very emphasized. And then what supports the process of Venus approaching Uranus for that transcendence over the coming month, that's happening by itself is intensity, building up to sudden unexpected revolutionary shift, changes, breakthrough, break free. transcendental. That's building up. And to set it up, Venus is squaring Pluto in the home of Uranus, facing her fears and her traumas and her pains, and other people in the world. And Mars is squaring Uranus. So the feminine is facing her fears and the need to control and to be in power, while she wants to feel safe and stable. And the divine masculine is kind of building up this friction, this bomb ticking with Uranus of like, I want to break free. I can't take this anymore. Come on, I'm becoming really restless. You can't lock me. You can't control me. Because Venus is feeling all those fears and control and power with Pluto, and Mars is coming, it's like saying Mars is still in a trine to Chiron and Aries. And remember, Aries is not going to give anyone an opportunity to do something unjust towards self. She will stand up and defend the innocent, vulnerable self and say, no. You're not going to fall down that trap again. You're not going to wound yourself up again. And Chiron's like, yes, you're right, Aries. Together, we will get through this. We are not wounded again. We are healing. We are healed. And so they are kind of communicating with Mars like, Mars, we are healing. We are not falling down the same trap. Venus with Pluto, we are going to transform out of this. I'm not going to fall down my fears. I'm not going to fall down the unknown, all the things that happened to me in the past. This is about my future. Pluto is revolutionizing and transforming our future in Aquarius. So Pluto is also saying to Venus, is like, Venus, it's time to transcend beyond the past. We're going into a new future. Don't bring with you your old fears. Don't bring with you your old traumas. You've grown them, you've learned them, you've realized them. You've just been retrograde, Pisces to Aries to Pisces. You've done a lot of clearing, a lot of releasing, a lot of surrendering, a lot of karma ending. Saturn and Neptune are now in Aries, initiating a whole new karma, a whole new journey, a whole new dream. This is a whole new paradigm unfolding, Venus. So feel safe at home. It's okay, it's allowed for you to feel safe. It's allowed for you to feel loved. And don't be afraid. What happened in the past doesn't have to repeat itself because you've learned a lesson. So face those fears and face that need to be in control and let it go. So Mars with Uranus is also it's fixed signs, Leo, Taurus. And it's like Aquarius, Taurus as well. It's all fixed. So there's this kind of like a lot of fixed energy clashing with each other. And when you have fixed energy clashing with each other, it can be very explosive. Very explosive. So let's follow up now the exact moments, okay? So this is what's building up now that we're following. We are following Mars on 4 o'clock on the 25th degree of Leo. We are following Mars heading towards the 28th degree to square Uranus. We are following Jupiter that is in the final hours in Gemini, about to go into Cancer in your 6 o'clock. We are following Venus on your 8 o'clock that is building up the square to Pluto that is on your 11 o'clock on 3 degrees of Aquarius. It's all happening at the same time. And we're following the Moon ending Scorpio, opposing Uranus, and then entering Sag, preparing for the full moon. And we are following it doesn't end. Mercury that entered Cancer. Now Mercury is going to trigger the square. It's already triggered. So it's all happening at once. It's so complex and so fascinating. Mercury entered Cancer and is beginning to square Saturn and Neptune in Aries. And this is a cardinal sign square. Cardinal is like Aries, Cancer. Wow. Okay. Aries, Cancer, Libra. So we have Aries here on your 9 o'clock. We have Cancer here, 6 o'clock. We have Libra here on your 3 o'clock, and we have Capricorn on your 12 o'clock. Thank God there's nothing Capricorn now. We've done that shit in 2020. Oh, how is this relating? Soon we will get there. So remember the Capricorn. So at the moment of these squares, we don't have Capricorn. But we have this cardinal square between Mercury and Saturn and Neptune. So I want you to remember that the lead up to Monday was very positive. The 2 weeks leading to Monday was very positive. Remember that. The groundwork of the energies that were playing out over the last 2 weeks was set up for a very positive experience. And I want you to remember that as you come next week into Sunday until Wednesday night. Because they're gonna come this wave of intensity that is gonna test and challenge and bring to a friction energy that will then lead to the illumination and the release and the amazing open expansion of the full moon. So there is this amazing, beautiful energy, love, sweet harmony flowing. Then there is this really intense, super intense wave that comes into the release of the full moon and unfolding into this amazing kind of developments. Okay? Keep that in mind, because it's going to be intense, which is why I had to come to you tonight. Now, we are following Let's Go by the hours. So, by Monday, 10:06 p.m. Now, this is still the same Monday of Mercury conjunct Jupiter. Mercury moved into Cancer. Mars sextile Chiron, a trine Chiron. The moon in Scorpio, square Mars, oppose Uranus now. 10:06 p.m. moon oppose Uranus. Okay? As the square of Venus to Pluto intensifies, as the square of Mars to Uranus intensifies, as Mercury square Saturn. So at the same time that Mercury square Saturn, which is exactly at, it happens before the moon opposition to Uranus, but it's happening simultaneously. So here it is. Mercury square Saturn exactly on Monday 8:39 p.m. This could be a serious conversation about vulnerable matters. Mercury in Cancer is now communicating the heart. Vulnerabilities, sensitivities. The moon is at the end of Scorpio. It's intense, it's deep, it's feeling on a deep level. But it's ultimately healing, Mars trine Chiron. Ultimately healing. But there's deep feelings here. On the way to these degrees, the moon passed through Juno. So this directly relates to our sacred relationships, intimate relationships specifically. And the moon comes to these end degrees of Scorpio, 27, almost 28 degrees of Scorpio, as Mercury square Saturn. And Mercury communication, conversation in Cancer, vulnerability, insecurities, sensitivities, home. This is how I feel. I feel a bit sad. I feel a bit hurting. I feel a bit insecure. I feel a bit afraid. Because what's affecting all this is the square between Venus and Pluto, the square between Mars and Uranus. So the feminine and the masculine inside of us and outside in the dynamics are feeling like something really intense is building up here. And we're trying to grasp it with all the Jupiter at the end of Gemini, final hours, and Mercury now coming into Cancer to communicate and express like, whoa, 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 I'm feeling all this, man. I have this feeling, I have that feeling, I'm really sensitive, and this is what I'm feeling in my sensitivity. And in a square to Saturn, it might be a confronting, challenging conversation that might feel like you need to control yourself. Saturn is saying to Mercury, whoa, whoa, dude, I hear you, I'm listening, but let's talk about it like adults, okay? Cancer is also can be the googie gear, okay? So Saturn is kind of saying like, just structure your emotions, control your emotions so that I can understand what you're saying to me. But Mercury in Cancer saying, this is exactly what's annoying. When you control my feelings, you tell me how to feel and how not to feel, and it feels so restrictive and controlling and overpowering. And Saturn goes like, man, can you grow up? Can you be a bit more mature about it? And just like, there's no problem talking about your sensitivity, but can you do it in a way that you realize that I'm not here to wound you? I'm here to help you heal? But there's a lot of intense feelings. The moon is at the end of Scorpio. And this opposition of Moon and Uranus, this could be like sudden abruption or eruption of feelings and emotions. And it's kind of like the square to Saturn is uncomfortable. So it could affect the mind, the square to Saturn. You may be looking at everything in a very negative way. I just fooled myself. It's never gonna work. What's going to be with me? I thought this dream was real, and this dream is not real as well. Some melancholy, some depression, some negative outlook on things. I really wanted this to be like that, and this, that, and this like that. So there's a bit of kind of a negative wave there. Don't fall for it. That's the main thing. When the negative wave comes visits you, Sunday, Monday into the full moon on Wednesday, remember the guideline. Observe it, be zen, meditate with it. Sit with it before you bring it out. Process it inside of you before you purge it. Really reflect and meditate and process what it is for you and what is really that you want to achieve with this, so that when you bring it out, it could be constructive and empowering, transformative, transcending, illuminating, releasing the old patterns of the old way you used to do you. Nice. Intense but nice. So when the negative comes, don't fall down the trap. It's not really here to take you down spiraling into the negative. It's coming to create the friction with the old negativity, to bring out something up to the surface, very vulnerable, very sensitive, very deeply felt, very intimate, but ultimately supporting your healing and expansion. Because the square of Mercury to Saturn is, and pay attention, Saturn on your 9 o'clock, 0059, Neptune 0159. They are now within 1 degree. And now Neptune's going to move to the 2nd degree, and Saturn's going to move for the 1st degree. Neptune first time in 164 years, Saturn first time in 30 years. So this is also another big moment happening there. So Mercury square to Saturn, 8:39 p.m. on Monday. An hour later, Moon opposing Uranus at 10:06 p.m. Okay? And Neptune moved to the 2nd degree of Aries. And Venus closing on the square to Pluto, Mars closing on the square to Uranus. Oh, sorry, Mars passed. I need to go back. Oopsie daisy. A lot is going on, so sometimes it's like, hey, how much can you be on top of? I have to go, let's go with the flow. Monday 7:03 p.m. So while wow, it's amazing, right? At the same time that Mercury square Saturn and the Moon opposes Uranus, is the exact square of Mars to Uranus. Okay? So the exact moment was Mars square Uranus. Is 6:19 p.m. Yep. Monday is massive. Monday is popcorn day. Big things will happen in the world. Big things will happen in the world on Monday. Okay? So just in the world and inside of you and in your life. Ultimately for healing, ultimately for better. So don't fall down the negative rabbit hole, okay? Stay zen. Venus in Taurus. Find your own stable place, your own sense of love. Mercury in Cancer. Listen to your own emotional need. Listen to your sensitivity. Listen to your heart. To lean on that. Lean on the emotional sacred heart consciousness. Because there's going to be a lot of mental and emotional processes here. Monday is massive. From Sunday night. Massive, massive, massive. On an epic level. Massive, okay? This is not just another big thing. It's a massive on an epic level. Because it's all happening at once. So, what am I talking about, man? I get confused here. Sorry. I thought Mars was squaring Uranus, but it's on the 25th degree, not 28. Ami, what's going on with you, dude? Ay. Lucky I can say I'm a bit unwell, you know? Okay, so moving on. So Moon moves into Sagittarius on Monday late night. Moon moves into Sagittarius. And the next thing we want to see is Venus, Pluto. There we go. The exact square of Venus to Pluto is happening on Monday late night, Tuesday early morning at 2:59 a.m. Let's say 3 a.m. Monday night. Monday is gonna be so big that on Monday night we're gonna be like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this? It could also be like transcendental lovemaking. Yeah, don't take it fully negative. For some people it's gonna be awesomely empowering. Moon in Sagittarius, looking at the bright side. Want to be optimistic about it all and see the positive and how we can expand and grow from this. So it's not just negative, there's a lot of positive. Remember, the lay ground is positive. The ground layers is positive. There's just a negative, intense kind of visitation that is kind of like really challenging and confronting us, but everything else is positive. Don't be afraid of it. Especially in the world as well. Don't be afraid. How am I not supposed to be afraid, Ami? Be in love. What do you mean? Do whatever you need to do to find your stable love vibration. If it means to unplug from electronics, from social media and go for a walk on the beach, so be it. If it means to cook for yourself something yummy that you really love eating, so be it. If it means chilling on the sofa not doing anything, so be it. If it means drawing or painting or going for a walk in nature, hiking, so be it. If it means cuddling your dog or your cat or whatever, so be it. If it means making love, having wild, intense sexual chemistry transaction, so be it, baby. I'm just saying, you know, it's like there's many ways it could translate. But we are now standing on Tuesday early morning, and Venus is exactly square in Pluto. And this intensity is coming to this friction of the zits bursting free. While Mars is still bending the square to Uranus, so there's more to come. Saturn is on the 1st degree of Aries by that time. Neptune is on the 2nd degree of Aries by that time. They are within 1 degree apart. Chiron is on the 26th degree for the first time. Venus is square in Pluto. The Moon just passed opposition to Uranus in Sagittarius, wanting to expand and be optimistic and feel good about it all and see how it can actually uplift and raise the bar and kind of like explore. While Mercury is now in the middle between the square to Saturn to the square with Neptune, so he's squaring both of them. So, is what I'm feeling right? Or am I delusioning myself? I'm so confused. On one hand, I want to expand. On one hand, I want to contract. On one hand, I want to merge and make love and unite and feel the love. On the other hand, I'm so afraid because I don't know what if something bad will happen. Mars processing Cancer square into Saturn and Neptune. Saturn is trying to hold his old identity and this old kind of like regime and structure and kind of like, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. But Neptune is overwashing it, it's like dissolving it, it's like, forget about that, dude. Mercury in Cancer is like, but wait a second, I'm feeling a lot, I'm very sensitive, I'm trying to understand what I need. It's like, what is my feeling saying? And that's the guiding line. Let me come home to Venus in Taurus. Stabilize. Feel safe. Feel secure. Let me feel all my feelings as the moon is in Scorpio. Let me feel all the intensity, all the depth. Let me not be afraid of it. Let me embrace it. Let me process the realization of Mercury coming to conjunct Jupiter on the 29th degree of Gemini after a year of Jupiter in Gemini. For the last time in 12 years. It will be only 12 years from now when they meet. So this is kind of a definitive a culmination realization of Mercury and Jupiter in the end of Gemini for a 12 years plan. Now let me face these fears, this intensity of Venus square Pluto. Let me not be afraid of intensity. Let go of the fear of intensity. Let go of the fear of being emotional, of feeling a lot, of processing a lot. Why are you so afraid of it? Be in it. Feel all of it. It's you. It's your feelings, it's your emotions, it's your heart, it's your desires, it's your needs, it's your wants, it's your karma, it's your structure, it's your philosophy, it's your values, it's your everything that you have been until now is changing. Feel it. Be it. Don't be afraid of it. And it will empower you. It will transform you in ways that you can't imagine right now. And the square between Mars and Uranus is building up now. Okay? So, Tuesday early morning, 3 a.m., the square between Venus and Pluto. Moon travels through Sagittarius in preparation for the full moon. And Jupiter enters Cancer. Come on, Jup. On your 6 o'clock Tuesday morning, you wake up, you make yourself your cup of coffee, your cup of tea, you meditate, you journal, you do whatever you do, you walk your dog. 7:02 a.m. in the morning of Tuesday, Jupiter moves into Cancer. It hasn't been here since 2014. 12 years. 2013. So, now, and it's happening, Jupiter enters Cancer as Mercury is now really squaring Neptune. So, Mercury has met with Jupiter, they made the decision. The moon traveled through Scorpio, did all that intensity. Venus squared Pluto, and she's still squaring Pluto, but she's breaking away, so the intensity is there. Mercury enters Cancer, processing feeling sensitivity, squaring Saturn, restrictive, controlling, old kind of like things, needing to be mature and grown up about it and try a new way. Squaring Neptune. Am I delusional? Did I deceive myself? Is this can really be real? It's like, nah. Maybe kind of like melancholy, as I said, negative outlook on everything because of this negative wave of challenges. Don't fall for it. And then Jupiter comes into Cancer on Tuesday, 7:02 a.m. And we have, boom, a whole new tone as well here. Suddenly, everything that's got to do with Cancer is magnified and expanded, while the moon is in Sagittarius, and we're having a mutual reception here. Jupiter is in the home of the moon, Cancer, while the moon is in the home of Jupiter, Sagittarius. So Jupiter magnifies and expands the emotional body and the feelings in a rising to a full moon, which is already intensified and rising anyway, right? But we are having here a real big surge. of emotions, of feelings, of sensitivities, of the inner child. Everything got to do with our lineage, ancestry, family, mother. The inner child, the emotions, the feelings, the sensitivities, the heart. There's an expansion of the heart here. So suddenly we're going from a lot of mental and a lot of air into a lot of heart, embodied love. Venus is in Taurus home. Mercury and Jupiter are in Cancer. There's a lot of heart, love, emotions, processes happening here. So, 7:02 a.m. Jupiter enters Cancer for a year. And the next thing that is happening is that we are now, as Jupiter is still doing his kind of like, hi, how you doing in Cancer? Mercury is now in a direct exact square to Neptune very shortly after at 8:52 a.m. So Tuesday morning is now the focus is going to these squares between Mercury and Jupiter in Cancer to Saturn and Neptune in Aries. So Mercury is kind of squaring Neptune. Is like, am I really feeling what I'm feeling? Mercury is processing the sensitive feelings in Cancer. Neptune is the voice of spirit, the guidance of spirit, guiding the self to know something, to do something. And Mercury is kind of like, it's a friction. Is it a dream or is it an illusion? Am I convincing myself or am I receiving guidance? Could this be real? Or is this an illusion? It's confusing. Might be disappointed. Might be let down. Maybe. On the negative shadow side, you need to be very careful not to be manipulated through your sensitivity, through your emotions and feelings, not to be deceived, manipulated. See things for what they are and judge things through your heart, not through your eyes. Mercury, the mental mind, has gone into Cancer, the heart. So, oh my god, I'm already going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Wow, it's massive. It's just massive download. I need to finish this very soon though. So, didn't realize the time just passed like that. So yeah, the squares between Mars and Neptune, Mars and Saturn. Challenging, confusing, kind of like maybe kind of bit of melancholy, because everything is also beginning to illumination. The moon is in Sag, rising to the full moon. So the sun is in Gemini, processing all the information. The soul is processing a lot of information. Sun is holding space in Gemini. So 8:52 a.m. is the square of Mercury to Neptune. Moving a few hours ahead, Moon is moving on. Yes. Here comes the full moon. Here it is. Wednesday, 5:44 p.m. Literally an hour and a half before the sound healing meditation. So join us on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Full moon in Sagittarius. Sound healing meditation. As you can see, it's going to be very needed and very powerful healing. Moon in Sagittarius. Sun is in Gemini. This is following the new moon in Gemini of creating a new exciting story for a new future. Now, after all that I explained to you in these 2 hours, the moon comes to oppose the sun, and there is an illumination here of what prevents the expansion into the new story. What prevents the good feelings, the abundance. Sag and Jupiter are all about expansion, blessings, rewards, abundance, flow, growth, philosophy, ideology, learning. They've done a lot of mental exercise all this Gemini season, with Jupiter in Gemini for a year, with Mercury in Gemini together, with all you just told. There's a lot of mental exercise here, and suddenly the energy drops into the heart. Vroom. There's stabilization here happening, of letting go of all this philosophy and ideology that keeps us kind of contracted and restricted in the structure of identity of the past. Neptune is washing it all away in Aries. Neptune is saying, if you want to grow spiritually, if you want to evolve spiritually, if you want to have a new dream, if you want to have a vision, you need to follow me with your faith. Don't be fixated on what you think spirit is. Don't be fixated on what you think your transcendence and your divinity is. Let me show you a whole new way of understanding your own divinity, your own spirituality, your own faith. And so this is a beautiful full moon. There's a lot happening here. Everything I just told you. Venus is breaking out of the square to Pluto. It's now in a better place. Mars is building the square to Uranus, which will follow after the full moon. So, heads up, that will follow the full moon. That will be very bombastic. But look how many squares, look how many trines. So, Mercury passed the squares to Saturn and Neptune. He's now on the 4th degree. Hey, shalom Ima, Simon. Yeah, intense. Wait. Once we will feel it, it will be even more intense. So now there's still this beautiful trine on this full moon. Beautiful, beautiful trine. Fire trine of alchemy and transformation. Mars 26 Leo. Chiron 26 Aries. Moon will come to 26 Sag, following the full moon a few hours later. But it's still there. So there is trine, harmonious, beneficial flow, development. It happens without you trying to make it happen. What kind of a fiery alchemy, beautiful, harmonious flow? Of moon expanding in Sagittarius towards a more optimistic horizon that is healing and soothing the wounded sense of self in Aries, that is supporting the courageous, royal, authentic new self emerging in Mars and Leo. That is the backdrop tone of the full moon. Okay? As Moon 20 Sag opposing Sun 20 Gemini. Jupiter just entered Cancer, magnifies the emotional heart sensitivity. Mercury in Cancer passed the squares. Okay? Uranus is coming to the end of Taurus. That will be the next shift, the next big shift. And so, very optimistic, positive full moon, followed by an intense couple of days. Alchemy of fire. There is a fire alchemy happening here. You can say it's like the Agni-Hotra, you know, the Hindu, they have the ceremony Agni-Hotra, where they kind of, or in the Peyote ceremony, you know, they sit and they roll tobacco, sacred tobacco, as they give blessings and thanks in front of the fire. Or, you know, also in shamanic ritual, you sit in a teepee with the shaman and there's a fire in the middle. Mainly in peyote practice, I think. And you throw the cedar wood seeds into the fire. As you give, you know, you give your kind of like confessions and gratitude and everything. So there's a fire alchemy here. It could be very good to do a fire ritual on this full moon. Sag is a fire sign. Burning away. This would be a good practice actually. Sunday, write down things, thoughts, beliefs, ideology, philosophy that you feel like it's no longer fully matching with your future. Thoughts from it you wish to kind of let go of, enough thinking like that, enough expressing like that, enough communicating like that. Just kind of like put it on paper, and on the full moon, burn it, release it. Could be very good ritual for this full moon. I have to finish this love stream, but I will just finish it up with the squares of Jupiter to Saturn, Neptune, and of Mars to Uranus, without going into all the rest that is happening as well, as everything is keep on shifting, right? Now, so the first thing happening, it might happen simultaneously. Looks like it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Yeah, simultaneously, unbelievable. Wow. Amazing. Simply amazing. Okay. Here it is. Following the full moon. The exact square of Mars, 2854 of Leo on your 4 o'clock, to Uranus, 2854 of Taurus on your 7 o'clock, happens on next Sunday, the 15th of June at 7:17 p.m. So not this Sunday, next Sunday in the evening, followed like 3 days after the full moon. Okay? Very intense, very explosive, unpredictable, fixed signs clashing heads, the stubborn bull and the proud Leo. When you're gonna have a dynamic of an ego-centered proud Leo with a stubborn, rigid Taurus, there will be the most explosive dynamic that will go boom. Could be shocking, traumatizing, could be bombs exploding, could be massive volcanic activities or earthquakes. So just be aware of this energy. How can we avoid doing that negative impact? Is continuing building on that positive ground layers kind of layout. Uranus says, if you be flexible and if you just go with the flow, and when a problem appears, focus on solution and be innovative and creative and the maverick, you will be able to overcome this by being a humble Leo. You know, the true lion is a humble lion. He doesn't need to prove that he's a lion. Again, back to the same message. There is no need to prove your point. If you will avoid your need to prove your point and to prove who you are and what you think that you did, if you will avoid that, you'll be alright. But if you find yourself in dynamics where you have to fight for who you are and to prove who you are and to make, it's like, no, man, this is gonna be a nightmare. It's gonna be full on. So yeah, that is Mars square Uranus, Sunday 17. A breakthrough it will be for sure, good or bad, but empowering as well, because Venus is stabilizing it. So Venus is helping us out here. But at the same time the square between Mars and Uranus is happening, the square between Jupiter and Saturn is happening for the third final time. Jupiter squared Saturn 2 times already in the last 6 months, but it was Gemini to Pisces. So there was a big thing going on here, Gemini to Pisces. Now comes the moment which I connect the dots for you into 2020. Jupiter conjunct Saturn in Capricorn with Pluto in December 2019, where the shit show started. The poo and the juice and everything we've been through since the end of 2019, where it started to go out. That was the conjunction of Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto in Capricorn. Now comes the first square. The first square is kind of like breaking through into the new. Jupiter is the big story, the big understanding. And Saturn is the karma, responsibility. And so something in this energy of next Sunday, 15th of 16th of June, It's something that will bring some closure, understanding, initiation, new beginnings, new openings to something that was seeded at the end of 2019 to 2020. 15th of June, just for the sake of it. Let's go. Here it is. This is... No, sorry. Yeah. Maybe more. This will be an interesting time travel now, going back there, realizing, wow, it's already 5.5 years, and we can remember it as if it was yesterday, right? Jupiter enters Capricorn in December 2019, and it's all happening here at your 11 o'clock. And Jupiter is heading towards the big conjunction of Saturn and Pluto. And then Saturn and Pluto meet, and Jupiter is sneaking behind. Just look at the 11 o'clock. Don't worry about the rest of the chart. Look at the 11 o'clock. Jupiter is closing in. Mars coming in. And then Jupiter passed Pluto. And now Jupiter is heading towards Saturn. And now they're all retrograding. So I'm gonna move weeks now. And they retrograde, and Saturn and we're all going back. Okay. And then they move in direct. And then Jupiter meets Pluto again. And here comes the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. And you will remember this because back then I told you this is the seed that creates a whole new big story for our new future. 0 Aquarius. So this seed we all planted in December 2020, where we're in the midst of lockdowns. Okay? Towards the ends of lockdowns. This happened. And it happened exactly on the 21st of December 2020. So that's when Saturn was conjunct Jupiter. That was the seed. Write that down for yourself. December 21st, 2020. The seed of the new big story of the new future was planted there. And who is there now doing that work of transformation? Pluto. So Pluto is covering this area. Right? Now is the first square. Saturn came to Aries. Jupiter comes here to Cancer. And we're having a cardinal square. Cardinal is the initiative, fundamental change, breakthrough, new. Aries, the new self. Cancer, the new heart. The new sensitivity. The new emotion. And so in December 2020, you probably went through a process of realizing I can't take this shit anymore. Something, a whole new level, a whole new story need to come out of this, and I'm never doing the same shit again. So now comes the first square. And Saturn comes to Aries and say, okay, so what is this new karma? What is the new structure? What is the new self? What is this new? Neptune is like, I don't know, I'm a bit confused because Neptune is here just flooding everything, dissolving everything, telling me to trust Great Spirit. Okay. So Jupiter in Cancer is like, okay. The new story here begins here. The new story begins in my heart. The new story is how I relate to myself, to my inner child, to my sensitivity, to my emotional needs, to my sacred home. That's what the new story is about. That's where I'm heading to. Okay? Just wanted to bring that conjunction. Following that, another point to think about in the cycle is the time where Jupiter was conjunct Neptune. And that happened a bit like 2 years later. Here it is. April 12th of 2022. Jupiter was conjunct Neptune in Pisces. So first it was kind of like planting the big story new seeds with Saturn in Aquarius. Then he comes to Pisces to meet Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, on the 23 degrees. Saying like, so what do we need to release? What do we need to let go of? What do we need to surrender? What do we need to heal? What do we need to dream? How can we expand our dream? That was the seed planted in the conjunction of Jupiter with Neptune on the 12th of April 2022. So you had Jupiter Saturn December 2020. Then you had Jupiter Saturn December 2020. Jupiter Neptune April 2022. Okay? Coming back to now, taking it back to the 15th of June, not this Sunday, next Sunday. This Sunday. Not this one, next one. And here comes the square of Jupiter to Saturn first on the 15th, which relates to December 2020, the breakthrough into the new, after the illumination of the full moon and the release. And then a few days later, on the 18-19, comes the square to Neptune. Neptune 0206, here comes. Yeah, here it is. Then comes the square of Jupiter to Neptune on the 19th of June. And that relates to 2022 April. That's the breakthrough there. I'm not going to continue any further. I'm just going to note that by that time, Mars has shifted into Virgo. After he passed the square to Uranus. Okay. I think that's it. I did it. Yeah, baby, I did it. Oops, I did it again, as Britney Spears says. And if we did it again, it's time to bring the previous track. I wanted to say, take it down a bit. Thank you so much. Love and gratitude to your family. Massive download. A lot is happening. Trust the process. By the time we get to the middle of July, we will be different. The world will be different. This is very epic part of the journey. So just have faith. Don't fear anything. Just be in love. And the main guidance of this week, remember, is just like be zen. Go in, find your stable inner self, your source of love, your center, and then come out. Even though there might be very abrupt temptations. Love you all. Thank you so much. Press like and subscribe to the channel. Press like on this movie. Share it with your friends and family. Come to sound healing meditations. Come to private healing sessions. Very important time to do healing work. I'm here for you. Booking link on the blurb of this movie on social media and through soundhealingdelight.com. If you want to be a part of our online community, patreon.com/healingdelight is where we share a lot of goodies every day, almost every day, except the times I'm sick. And the recordings of the sound healing meditation of every full moon and new moon. So this full moon recording will be provided on patreon.com/healingdelight. You can buy it as a standalone product or join the highest tier and enjoy it every month. Recently the prices of the tiers of Patreon went down, so it's more affordable for you to join us and kind of enjoy the goodies that we all share there. And that's it, family. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I love you all. Be strong, be courageous, be brave. Thank you, Alex. Love you. And healing blessing to you, Alex. I'm sorry I haven't called you yet. I just couldn't. And Michelle. Awesome, Michelle. You're welcome. Enjoy it. Anyway, love you, family. You be good to yourself. And remember, whatever happens, come from a place of love. Even if it's tough or negative or intense, just come from a place of love. Om Namah Shivaya, the destroyer and creator, the cosmic dance of life. Don't be afraid. Everything is coming from love. Everything will be better. Love you all. Peace, love, joy, happiness. Bye.
जय हो शंकरा आदिदेव शंकरा तेरे जाप के बिना चले ये सांस किस तरह मेरा कर्म तू ही जाने क्या बुरा है क्या भला तेरे रास्ते पे मैं तो आंख मूंद के चला तेरे नाम की जोत ने सारा हर लिया तमस मेरा नमो नमो शंकरा भोले नाम शंकरा जय लोकनाथ शंभो हे शिवाय शंकरा नमो नमो शंकरा भोले नाम शंकरा रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा से भी